So did you guys go on Twitter this weekend and experience this rate limit exceeded debacle that Elon brought upon us to try to get rid of bots? Did you guys experience that firsthand?
I got rate limited.
Man, y'all are losers if you got rate limited. Actually, no,
I'm fine admitting it. I know. It's like basically being like, so yeah, they ran out of drugs this weekend in your city, and you're like the one complaining. Everyone knows you're addicted to Twitter. I am. I'm ready to admit it. I'm ready to come full circle with you guys and tell you. But also, I feel like it didn't even work because it'd be like you're rate limited. And I would just spam refresh like 3 times. It would give me new tweets anyways. I was like, okay, rate limit that, Elon.
It just wouldn't work for me. I literally couldn't read anything. I couldn't read the tweets on the BoDoggos account. Easy, Nick, nothing was coming through for me. It's funny that people are like, you'll meet people that have like a certain political position. They'll be like, I wonder how long Twitter is even going to be around. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like it's hitting all-time user growth. But then a weekend like that happens and I'm like, damn, maybe it will like actually go out of business.
Yeah, Elon definitely, takes an interesting approach to like development cycles. He's like, okay, let's like turn off the lights and then slowly turn them back on until people can see again. That's basically what he did. You know what I mean? Like it's now back to a functioning level, but like live, like I would hit a rate limit and then I'd see a tweet from Elon like, we just bumped the rate limits by 50%. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I got more.
You know why he thought there was this slew of bots attacking the site, right?
Why?
Because they self-denial of service themselves when he decided to take so you know how they made the site private so that you have to log in order to read Twitter now?
I didn't know that. But okay.
So now you have to log in order to read Twitter. And in addition to that, what happened was the script that was on the homepage, or now the homepage, was constantly checking for new tweets. And it would check every like couple hundred milliseconds, basically. So it would keep pinging the server looking for more tweets, even though it wasn't going to return any because they made this page private. So he thought that they were under attack from bots when they were under attack from themselves.
Well, I heard the real reason though, Nick, is that it's because all of these AI companies are like scraping the shit out of the whole internet. And so all sorts of companies now are like going to start throttling API access and like trying to rate limit people that are scraping, because like it's getting so bad now. These companies need so much data to build their AI tools off of that they're just like sending bots around the internet and just scraping it. I heard someone make a take that basically said like the internet's going to go back like a decade in terms of like openness, just because like AI scraping tools are just going to make everybody have to like make walled gardens essentially and close off data access.
That's an interesting take. Well, for now, as a result of that, if you're blaming AI for Elon shutting down Twitter, I would blame them for, there were a lot of, so I follow a lot of Twitter employees, or now ex-Twitter employees, I should say, because they don't have employees anymore. They just have robots working there. But they, all those people were just straight hating that. It was pretty aggressive. Some of the feedback that they were getting, because they had been spurned by Elon Musk, I think, in the past working there. Some of them were even loyal to him, but it sounds like they pushed back on some things and were let go as a result of that. And yeah, I saw a tweet. Esther. Oh my God, why am I blanking on her last name? Esther. I'm gonna have to find her last name. But she was discussing. She used to work there as a lead product person, basically, and she was the one that had the photo of what was her? She had the photo of herself. Basically, Esther Crawford is her name, of her laying on the floor at Twitter.
Oh, I remember this person.
And so Esther, I actually know her from back like many years ago when I lived in San Francisco. But she posted this tweet. I'll share it in here, PO, which basically said, and actually we should assign someone to put the stuff on the screen. But
I can play producer.
She said, hubris plus no pushback minus customer empathy minus data equals a great way to light billions on fire.
Oh, wow. Little snarky remark there.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense, the AI thing, though. I think AI is like starting to do like it's kind of getting crazy out there. And I think we're going to see more of this. I think we're going to see more APIs lose access, all this stuff. Because like apparently Reddit now is like even more aggressively trying to get you to download the app versus like browse on the web.
Oh.
Like Reddit may completely get rid of their web browser. And if they do that, then it's definitely because of AI.
Well, they shut down their API and then all the subreddits are protesting. I used to go to our videos, which is one of the like most popular subreddits. And now their policy is that you need, if you submit something, you need to have curse words in the subject line so that Reddit can't generate advertising dollars on it. And there's a lot of people that have been like, initially everyone went private and it just broke Reddit. So it was bad for all of us basically, because and then so now they've been negotiating that process and trying to figure out the best approach to do it. And so now they just have F-bombs over and over and over again on Reddit, our videos. The problem is like the curation is now more biased towards just having not safe for work.
Nick, what did you say right there about Reddit? They like changed their API access, dude. Elon, they're probably all talking to each other, dude. Like AI is scraping all our data, dude, and we need to hold on to this data.
API. They've been waiting for this moment. They're blaming API or AI. Look, I understand that AI is changing things, but it wasn't like AI just came out and now suddenly there's this massive onslaught in order of magnitude more significant than previously existed. I just don't believe it.
I saw Joe Biden sing a rap song over the weekend, and it was beautiful.
Saw the same thing. It even had like a feature from Obama in there as the second bar. It was pretty good. And not gonna lie, if that hit Spotify, it'd be in the top play.
That's clearly proof that the AI bots are really picking up steam right now.
Yep, it's direct proof. They also were reading my tweets in the same rap song. I have no idea how, but they were saying it. It was crazy. Pleasantly surprised. So they're clearly scraping data. It's baffling, really. I don't know how they've been doing it.
I saw Joe Biden shouting out BoDoggos. Did you see that video clip?
Yeah, I actually made that clip. Just saying.
Well, I wish you wouldn't have admitted that.
Well, when I say made, I funded his campaign to make the clip as a real person. It wasn't AI.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant by made.
I like the sound of that. Well, look, we're gonna get into the mix here. There's a lot to talk about on the NFT side. Not so much good stuff, but we got stuff to analyze. Want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's show, Phantom Wallet, the official wallet partner of BoDoggos and the Nifty. Phantom is the leading wallet on Solana. It's got millions of users already, a superior user experience, and of course, NFT features for both Ethereum and Polygon in addition to Solana. So with Phantom, you can easily view all your NFTs across all three networks. You can manage them in one convenient location. You no longer need to switch wallets and have that painful experience day in and day out. There's a browser extension and world-class applications for iOS and Android, so it's easy for you to access your wallet from anywhere, and you can search and pin your NFTs to hide spam and keep your collection organized. You can also directly list NFTs from the wallet. That's something that I personally am a huge fan of. So beyond that, the upgrade is super simple. There's no need to send NFTs, no need to transfer assets. You just import your seed phrase from your existing Ethereum wallet right into MetaMask. It has the capacity to hold more than one seed phrase. It's easy to do this. So visit the link in the pinned tweet and fund your ETH wallet to get started. That's phantom.app. I'll make sure that we get a pinned tweet up top. But look, we got a stormy day of weather ahead of ourselves in the NFT space. We're going to go over to weather reporter extraordinaire Signal to take us through the weather report. Sig, how's it going?
Yo, good man. You know what? If I could rate limit myself on TikTok, I would. Because you know when you get to that 30th, like scroll, and somehow the algo knows you've been looking up like how to make homemade toothpaste, and you're like, how did I get here? I started on Nifty portal and now I'm down here looking at like how to do homemade toothpaste. It's time to close the app. So you know what? Rate limiting. I don't have a problem with it because I'm not trying to build some kind of AI prompt and I don't need to be doom scrolling all day. But anyway, look, guys, it was Hurricane, if we had a name for it, Hurricane July out there over the weekend. It was carnage. But let's see, total market volume came in at 44.3 million. Monday, the 3rd of July, GM, Blur coming in at the majority of 22.3, while OpenSea at 7.5. Onto the leaders. We got to say these numbers slowly because some of you are crying. I'm crying with you, but I'm also smiling through the tears. Apes, 29.1. Sorry, Bunny. Mutants, 5.2. Sorry, Bunny. Punks, 43. Sorry, Nick. D-Gods, 7. Sorry, anyone who's a D-God holder. Azuki, 6. Oh, I feel for the Azuki community. I do. You've taken some losses. Sorry to the Azuki community. Captainz, 5.3. PO, easy. You wrote your own funeral. Pudgies, sorry, Sig. 3.6 and Kicks 3.6. Those are some bad bleeds, everyone. But over the weekend, let's keep smiling. It was PFP Market took horrendous losses. It was across all the collections. Most collections were down, but the leaders on the down front were Beans, which are 70% down on the 7-day, and Azuki 60% down on the 7-day. There were some winners, however. So if you held Wrecked Guy, O'Peppen, or Pudgy Penguins, these have had some of a bit of a relief rally through this tumultuous time. So there were some winners out of all the losers. On to Memeland. Memeland revealed PFPs, but they faced FUD for the art, despite being able to customize your avatar and then have later on have the abilities to sell these traits. Market participants just wanted to carry on FUDding. The art wasn't good enough and they expected more for a 6-month reveal. Captainz sold off pretty hard on the weekend. They went as low as 4.5 ETH, but they did manage to recover and they got back to 5.3. On to gaming, and game publisher Ubisoft revealed a new blockchain game. Obviously, Ubisoft known for Assassin's Creed. The new game is called Champions Tactics. It's an original tactical RPG on PC built on Oasis blockchain. The website teases a free drop at launch, which suggests that the game may require an NFT to play. We don't know, but let's see. It's probably going to be free. And then lastly, Ether, painful over there. The first phase obviously went out on Friday. The collection quickly 2x'd up to a nice win of around 1.2 before pulling back to the public mint price. Following the market activity, the team announced that they're cutting supply from 10K down to 5555, and that floor is holding 0.65. Onto crypto, BTC looking nice at 30.6, all sunny there. ETH even hotter at 1900. It's just gonna burst through that 2K. Solana looking beautiful at 19.4, and Ape holding steady at 2.2. So onto crypto, it is lovely and beautiful, but in the NFT market, it has been carnage. Back to you, folks.
Fantastic weather report. What a day for the weather from Signal there. Some other updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter that you need to be a subscriber of to gain the free NFTs that are available for free claim at thenifty.com, including the one that we're giving away today. So make sure you have an account at thenifty.com so you don't miss out. Memeland's Captainz, as Signal mentioned, they revealed the starter model of their PFP with customizable and tradable traits by other brands, NFT collections, and more coming soon. Ether announced a decision to reduce its supply from 10,000 to 5,555 NFTs, citing unfavorable market conditions, and will commence the public sale on July 9th. The remaining 3678 NFTs will be available for purchase at a price of still 0.65 Ethereum each. Last but not least, the SEC deemed the recent spot Bitcoin ETF filings, including those from major firms like BlackRock and Fidelity, as inadequate, stating that the filings were not clear and comprehensive. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that BlackRock has filed for over 300 ETFs and has only been rejected one time ever. So those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Reminder to go to thenifty.com, connect your ETH and Sol wallet. If you have Phantom Wallet, our trusted wallet partner, they will handle both wallets for you. Go to thenifty.com, connect your Phantom Wallet for the free NFT drops that happen on the platform. Look, we saw NFTs see max capitulation over the weekend. Most collections are down at least 15 to 20% over the past week. Some highlights: Signal pointed out Azuki is under 6 ETH. Pudgy Penguins have dropped down under 3.5. Bored Apes under 30. Have we seen a bottom? Or are we going to keep going? That's the question that I want to know.
Well, I think it's just the best time to remind people that only if you've been in the deepest valley can you know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain. Richard Nixon, 1969. It's an absolutely electric statement. Could not agree anymore with him on that. Clearly,
Was that before or after he got impeached?
Let's not talk about the semantics of this, please. But I just think that it's one of those situations where these things are repricing to a very like realistic, even now it's still a little bit unrealistic, but a more realistic price point. We're seeing a lot of this sell-off on a cascading effect. On Solana, we saw a similar cascading effect due to the loans with Blend previously, and we're starting to see some of that here too, where like the Azuki situation, people were max leveraged into the post-Hakkasan announcement, where they were just continuing to stack more Azukis in hopes price went up. And since price didn't go up, they all got liquidated. It was basically a leverage long 100x leverage type of play. They went on undisclosed. We don't acknowledge the market that you can use it. 1000x leverage instantly, no KYC, and just ripped it, only to see it crumble before them. And now we're seeing the whole market see that similar cascading effect as people get liquidated. They try to recoup some level of capital, especially from the whale side of things. I do think we're going to see some form of a relief rally here in the shorter few days, just because like when people are max selling, a lot of the sentiment now is, okay, a bottom's got to be close, and people are starting to average in. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it'll be interesting to see what goes down here. I'm like definitely interested in a few projects. I even told Nick, I was like, I'm kind of tempted to buy an ape. Like these prices seem way more interesting to me here. And then I sat down for another extra minute and was like, maybe I just buy a ton of other deeds and vessels because I'd rather just play the game than sit on the ape. But like they have the clubhouse opening up in Miami. So I'm like, that would be kind of cool to just go to. It's hopefully going to be down the street. Yeah, what's even wilder though is FTX, post FTX, I had a tweet where I said apes 30, mutants 5, dogs 1, other deed 0.6. And almost 8 months later, we're now at those prices. Of course, it wasn't the situation that I anticipated, but hey, listen, can't predict the future, but I'm getting close. Huh? I did not buy the ape, no. Because then you said, well, you told me, you were like, what about a punk? And I was like, well, punks aren't selling off that hard. And then I looked and they're at like 45. And I'm like, fuck, this is where I wanted to buy a punk last time. So
yeah, they're only 90 grand, man.
No, like 86.
85. So you get a discount, dude. Yeah. They can go down. I think all of these, look, like we're nearing mass capitulation. I think the reality, someone posted a tweet that was like, at some point you got to wonder whether or not your JPEG is worth more than your AirPods, and like which one you'd rather have.
Was that Loopify? I think that was Loopify.
No. Loopify had his own thing about why 99% of projects are going to zero, which is like, I'm loving seeing all of the like, it's everyone's capitulating. Like everyone's like, oh, is this over? Are we done? The reality is like, I don't know. Are you building a business? What are you doing? Like, yeah, what are you building? And I saw someone else like, man, I've seen so much commentary. I see people who've basically rugged talking about like why their project didn't do well. And
Nick, I'm going to say it. 99% of failures come from people who make excuses. George Washington.
That's right.
Did George Washington say that?
He did. Yeah, he did. He actually did.
He knew what was up.
It's actually one of the 15 timeless presidential quotes for President's Day, and that's number one.
Kind of had a lot to do with a revolution. Pretty strong.
Yeah, guy did it. He had wooden teeth. You're going to doubt the guy with wooden teeth?
Did he really have wooden teeth?
I don't know.
You didn't know George?
Yeah, dude. People's teeth back in the day were fucked. By the time you hit 30, dude, you like it was denture central, dude. You making out with a chick, you're popping those out, dude. Like nobody had natural teeth in their 30s.
It's because they didn't have TikTok with homemade toothpaste recipes. That's
Exactly.
where they went wrong.
Signal's making her own soap. She's making her own mouthwash. I love it. Get that honey in there, Signal.
The TikTok homemade toothpaste is pretty hilarious. That's like, do you mix Clorox into the toothpaste for teeth whitening?
No.
Is that like part of the suggestion that they have?
It's beeswax, I'm sure. Beeswax toothpaste.
There was a kid I saw who was doing some technical analysis as well, and it was really like a balls and a shaft, and then he was showing the technical analysis there, and he was like, I've been calling for it for a long time. Just the ejection here. Anyways, it was TikTok advisors is some of the best stuff that I've seen. But to the NFT side of things, I feel like inevitably it needs to get to a point where everybody is asking why the hell I was in this space, why I made those decisions. That to me seems like a reasonable place for it to be at full capitulation. And I feel like we're close. Like it feels close.
2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. I give it 2 more weeks before some big name players are like, fuck this. I spent $100 million to prop up my own project, and I have nothing to show for it. We did just see somebody talk about how they were leveraging all of their Yuga assets to fund their own project. And with this most recent cascading effect, are now deeply underwater and cannot repay the loan.
The comic guy, I'm blanking on his name, but yeah,
so we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. But to me, that's like the NFT market is moving slightly delayed from the crypto market, because the crypto market went through this same type of what the hell is this? How did this happen? Post FTX. And that is looking more and more like it truly was the price action bottom of this cycle. And damn, I wish I DCA'd more around then.
Of course it was. 1,000% it was.
Well, now we look back and we're like, of course it was. But like January hit and we're like, this might go lower. It's a new year and it's not looking pretty. But now it's like clearly like $800 ETH was like, holy shit, $8 Solana was literally the freest cash of free cash, it looks like.
Yeah, Solana, that was in December, end of December, almost January, and then it came back up. To be clear, if you look at the weekly, we still are on a gradual decline from that peak, which happened literally a few weeks into January. So like, it's not easy to say that we're definitively out of the woodwork yet.
Out of the woods.
The wood. I think it's there's
people come out of the woodwork.
People
are certainly not coming out of the woodwork in the NFT space right now. But you were saying that we're not out of the woods yet.
We're not. Well, look, I always love some good.
Are you talking about ETH price?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, dude, when you're like working the wood, you know, like when you're working on it, that's when you understand that the ETH is succeeding, you know, and so this all makes sense.
Okay, well, I think you just wanted to make up your own. I don't even know how to.
Yeah, he was just making up things too. He said we still haven't hit our peak a couple weeks into January. ETH wasn't at 1,900 in January. ETH was at like 1,250 in January. It didn't hit like 1,900 till March.
So here's the deal, from my perspective. So I think that everybody thinks that crypto is going to go higher now because the cat's out of the bag, that the legacy finance institutions are all on board and that all the SEC stuff is like basically bullshit. And then there's a lot of people that don't understand that it doesn't matter what the SEC does because you can't like make something that's not a security, like with Bitcoin. Like, I was talking to this lawyer at this party and she just didn't understand anything. And I was like, so check it out. There's like no.
I was talking with this lawyer at this party and she just didn't understand anything in life.
She wanted to talk about crypto. She was like egging me on. And I was like, so I don't want to talk about this. Like, I really don't, because there's no reason for me to talk about it. And she kept going off. And I was like, all right, let's chat a little bit about it. She thought that there was like a Bitcoin company with like a CEO and like, you know, that was why it was a security. And I was like, so I don't know how to like make you understand this in the next 5 minutes, but that's just not how it works. But anyway, we've long dealt with people not really understanding stuff. And when I look at Twitter and people are like, who's still here? Who's still here? The answer is it doesn't actually matter, because social media has no impact on any of this stuff, right? It doesn't matter. And there's a lot of people, well, I mean, it just doesn't matter. It's not even worth acknowledging, right? So whatever you see on social media actually doesn't matter. But I think that everybody knows crypto is going to continue to run up because, I mean, look, it's been mispriced for like over a year now. And so like anything under the all-time high is technically cheap in the sense that it's going to return to all-time high. I'm not talking about your random shitcoin BS that you bought. I'm talking about like Bitcoin. And I guess I'll extend it to Ethereum also and Solana. But the thing is like, it's basically free in the sense that if I buy it now for 31K, I know it's eventually going to be 69K. So if I want to plan for the future, I'm like, well, every time I buy one for 31K, it's going to be at least 69K, but really more. And I think a lot of people are coming to that realization. And it's tough to be in NFTs when that's happening, because if the crypto price is going to rip excessively and the NFT is priced in crypto, people are probably going to want to be in the crypto over the NFT. And then you pair that with the $40 million liquidity drain, and then the follow-up from the team where everyone's like, oh, wait, they sound like this? That's going to make it pretty tough. And I want to talk about that part, the $40 million liquidity drain, and I want to talk about the NFT side. One last thing, and I want to go to Kicks. One thing that's interesting to me is the stuff where people on Twitter, so I will go back to Twitter because I know everyone is listening on Twitter and people are obsessed with Twitter and they think Twitter matters for NFTs. Is that
What's that last statement? What do you mean they think Twitter matters?
People do think that Twitter has a material impact on like NFTs, like the NFT technology. They think that Twitter is a piece of the puzzle that matters.
Of course it matters.
It doesn't actually matter. Like this shit's going to go the way it's going to
That's
go.
like saying that the bar that we all go to after work to have our drink doesn't matter. If you go to the bar next door, no one's there.
It matters for these 3 weeks. It doesn't actually
matter for these 3 weeks. Dude, this is where the conversation is happening.
Well, why shut your Twitter down, Pio? Tell me if it matters.
Yeah, exactly.
It matters for our personal business for sure.
No,
but it doesn't.
It matters to be in the conversation. That is literally, if you're not on Twitter, where are you? How do we know who you are? Whether you're in business or whether you're an individual, it matters, Pio. That's like saying, that's like when someone like hits you up and is like, are you on like on Instagram or are you on WhatsApp? And you say no, and they look at you like, so where are you?
If you look at the next 10 years, it materially does not matter at all. But anyway, so if we're getting to now I'm like losing my train of thought. But anyway, Nick, go ahead.
It's not so far off.
You guys are like hooked on this Twitter comment right now. Does it matter for Bitcoin too? Does Twitter matter for Bitcoin? Maybe. It doesn't matter for Bitcoin, obviously, or NFTs in the long term. It matters for the price of your NFT tomorrow.
Where did you learn about Bitcoin?
Not on Twitter. Absolutely not. I didn't get Twitter.
I think the great Dr. Seuss could get us back on track here. And what he said,
I'd been buying Bitcoin for a calendar year before I made a Twitter account. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I didn't use Twitter to learn about Bitcoin. But anyway, I just remember what I want to talk about. There's this discussion about quote unquote PFPs and people saying quote unquote PFPs are done or something like that. First of all, calling them PFPs is, I think, weird to me. Well, in the sense that people are trying to separate fine art versus quote unquote PFPs. But I would say what you need to separate is fine art versus startup organizations. That's what I would say is they're startup organizations that are built in the crypto industry is what I would call a quote unquote PFP. But I think people are not thinking about them in that way. And they're looking at a bunch of quote unquote PFPs where the founders put out 9,000 or 10,000 JPEG images. And we're like, yeah, you guys gave me 1.1 million bucks. That was for the images. And that's it. You know what I mean? And I just think people don't understand, like, yes, a bunch of people did that because it was easy to do that in crypto and they didn't actually really believe in what they were doing and they never had any intention to run a startup organization. But the startup organization side of NFTs is not going to go anywhere. I mean, obviously, right? It's like people are going to want to be entrepreneurial and leverage NFTs, obviously. But Kicks, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% get what you're saying for sure. And I think PFPs now, like, we'll probably call that niche or industry like digital identity, you know, a couple of years from now, right? And that's where a lot of people are trying to transition their businesses from just PFPs to social networks or, you know, community, yada, yada, yada. It's like, it's, you know, it's digital identity. But what I've been looking at is a thing that like grounds me is just looking at the market caps of these NFT projects, because I don't think enough people look at the market caps. I remember when Other Deeds launched, right? And there was 100,000 of them. And I'm like, out the gate, this thing has a $1.4 billion market cap, right? And that's not the company. That's not Yuga Labs that has a $1.4 billion market cap. Yuga Labs also has a $1.4 billion market cap. And Other Deeds has a $1.4 billion market cap. And Bored Ape Yacht Club at the time was over $1 billion. And Mutants were like a $400 million market cap, right? Like, you can really kind of sober yourself up with these things when you're looking at the market cap. Like, everyone's acting like Bored Ape Yacht Club is like, you know, death and destruction right now. Bored Ape Yacht Club right now, it in and of itself, without any of the other Yuga Labs collections, has a $700 million market cap. You know what I mean? Like that's not chump change, right? Exactly. Azuki's Elemental collection, just the Elemental collection is what, like a $20 million market cap, right? Or is that a $40 million market cap? I think it's a $40 million market cap.
Live math, but we get the point.
Azuki is a $120 million market cap. You know what I mean? Like these things, DGods is a $140 million market cap. Captainz is a $120 million market cap.
They
And
host
these aren't
events, though. You're miscalculating that part, dude. They've hosted
This math
events.
is slapping.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, and these are not the company's market caps. Like Azuki, the company, is worth a couple $100 million or over $100 million. They just raised $40 million, right? Like what is the multiple on $40 million for like a tech company? 10x. So they're worth $400 million maybe, right? That's the company. But then the collections are also collectively worth like $200 million. So like a lot of people are trying to like catch the bottom, and hey, fuck it. You catch the bottom, you look like a genius. You can write a great Twitter thread. Everyone will smack you on the butt when you come through the locker room. Like good for you, right? But like, I'm not trying to like catch the bottom here. And I'm not saying that this isn't the bottom. Maybe it is the bottom, or they could bleed much further. All I know is I thought Moonbirds, I was like, yeah, CCO. Okay. Well, fuck. We went down to 11 ETH. That's the bottom. I was like, ah, shit. Something else happened. 7 ETH. Okay. That's got to be the bottom. Oh, okay. We're not doing high rise anymore. 5 ETH. That's got to be the bottom. My point being is that these things can bottom out more. There's more bottoming that can happen than you can think. Right. And I think just a good way to ground yourself is just by looking at like the actual market caps of these things. You know what I mean? And also, like, everyone thinks this is the literal end. Bored Ape Yacht Clubs were cheaper in November than they are right now. Like, you could have bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club for cheaper in November than you can buy it now. And how many did you get? 2 extra airdrops out of that, or maybe just one?
Vessels and the whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there were still airdrops coming out of it, and you could have bought it for the same price in November, but like people weren't freaking out in November. And actually from November to today, plenty of projects went up in value. DGods, I think, is up in volume. Like the Captainz ecosystem probably is up in value.
Oh, I mean, you minted at 1 ETH. It's 5x that.
Exactly. So I mean, it's like, I think people are freaking out because of like the cascading effect that this had. This was like, it felt like an FTX, but we can't blame anybody outside the space. Previously, we were able to be like, that's not our fault. That's 3 Arrows' fault, or that's Luna's fault, or that's FTX.
Well, people blame Blur, which is
this is the first. Yeah, now we're blaming Blur. Blur's been around since fucking October, dude. Like, okay, then you got to give Blur credit for when price goes up if you're going to blame it when it goes down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Bored Ape Yacht Club went down to 56K, went up to 110K, went down to 55K. Like, that happens in markets. Like, you know what I mean? Like this was not Blur that caused this crazy amount of liquid, like cascading effect. The reason why we had cascading effects is we had like multiple bad news events materialize. A lot of liquidity got drained. And also over time, the bear market, the active participants have whittled down. And what's propped up the market is whales concentrating more and more and more of the assets. And so when you have this huge amount of concentration risk and a couple things go wrong, poof, you get yourself like a waterfall, and that's what happened. But, definitely, I'm not right here. Like, I'm not like, dude, I'm just going to yeet 60K into Bored Ape Yacht Club right now.
Eat it, dude. Yo, and keep on bottoming, man. It's a big move, dude.
Dude,
people are commenting on how many times you said the word bottom, including a reference to smacking somebody's bottom.
Well, I was demonetizing our YouTube video, just like they're doing on Reddit.
Does anyone else think like this is? I mean, Kicks. First of all, I loved what you said. I agree with everything that you basically were like the financial analyst when people are like, "What happened? Why are we here?" You bring on Kicks, and he says it in 2 lines. I loved it. But anyone else not mad that this is happening? I mean, I've definitely lost money this weekend, but I'm just like, I think it's just a cold shower and a wake up call to everybody to just like stare at your JPEGs and be like, "Why am I holding this?" Like, I don't know. Some of them I'm holding for financial speculation, but the others, like, why am I holding them? Do I even want to, like, it just goes back to people's why, really, because how much of a loss can you take before you're like, I'm done with this? And I think this whole repricing of assets will just make people question who the teams are, who the founders are, what's their vision, what's their purpose, What did I pay at the beginning? Where is it now? And all of those questions are becoming a lovely amalgamation of why am I spending all my time in this space? If at the end of the day, if it's just gambling, there's plenty of places to do that. But if it's more than that, then hopefully it gives you a reason to want to stay in a community. So I'm looking at this price correction in a very positive way, simply because it makes me start to really question which teams I like, which founders I like, and which communities I'm happy to be a part of, regardless of the price.
So a couple of quick things on that. One, yeah, I've been thinking similarly, and also it's pretty exciting to see some of the price action that's out there is coming to a reasonable, like it's moving towards a reasonable level. Yeah. And I think that that's where we're headed with a lot of these things. Like paying $500,000 for something, just period, is pretty extreme. No matter who you are, it's a major investment, and so buying an NFT at that price is crazy. And I don't know.
And what was the market cap? 5 billion then?
I don't care what the market cap was. I'm just saying paying $500,000 for something is a lot. Bunny, I want to know how you're feeling right now, other than playing HV-MTL heavy metal to wipe away those tears. Hey, actually, I got a comment on that, but I want to hear how Bunny's feeling first.
Bunster.
Terrible.
Are you really feeling terrible?
I mean, it's not great.
You knew that it was going down to this level, though. Like, so is it like, are you feeling shocked?
If you knew your girlfriend was going to break up with you, would that make you feel better about it before she did it?
Well, wouldn't you have proactively ended the relationship if you knew that was coming? Or was the sex too good, Bunny?
Yeah, I guess if it was the sex, the airdrops. I mean, because they were slapping
butts, dude.
I mean, go ahead.
I want to. So, Bunny, so you've never put money into crypto, right? You put like $400 in, and then like everything came after that. Am I right about that, or am I making that up?
Essentially, the first crypto I actually bought was Flow.
Oh my God, I'm sorry for that.
For the Top Shots portfolio. Yeah, I mean, that was an L, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm basically free rolling, but I mean, it still hurts when every NFT is red. I think the other day, the only two green ones were Moonbirds and Doodles, which was like the weirdest thing to see. It's really like bizarro world right now.
And you aren't employed, correct?
I thought I still worked for Nifty.
Well, besides us, but I mean, you know. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I thought that was funny.
It's like, oh, look at Bunny. Hey, do you feel like less of a man as a result of that?
I'm just giving Bunny a hard time.
Well, hold on, real quick. The thing I was going to say is the heavy metal comment that I made. Legitimately, if there is one takeaway, I've diminished my hate on heavy metal slightly. The game, the beginning of it, and the foundation of it still sucks. You got to clean oil shit off tiles, and I just think, like, in what world does that dynamic seem like fun? It doesn't.
You ever played The Sims? You got to clean up their trash, like toilet floods.
Okay, well then at least I'm building like a real lifestyle thing, and I'm projecting myself into this world, and I get carried away and I embrace it. I'm not even in a world right now. I'm in this thing where my avatar is building tiles to connect to portals, which then apparently you can delete the tiles. I didn't even know that that's like a possibility, that after you connected the portals, you can delete them. I didn't know that that's possible. But that saves me some cash. But yeah, I'm still connecting because it's like I got a couple more tiles left here. So stand by for that. But I did spend some time while I was like coding on Saturday, and I just click over to the tab. I'd click on cleaning those tiles or petting my heavy metal character. And so that side of things was kind of fun.
Well, I get what you're saying. It's fun. It's no Sims. Like in real life, if your parents get divorced in The Sims, you can try to recreate your family. And then in the game, your parents fight in The Sims. And you're like, okay, that divorce made sense. You know, you can't do that in heavy metal, but it's still a fun game.
Bunny?
Somebody wrote a script to like auto clean the tiles, Nick. Maybe you could look into that.
I saw that
part of the game you hate.
He had hacked
I'll
it.
report you.
So, well, it sounds like he's working with them to block it. He was just flexing on people. He was flexing on mofos. But the thing I was going to say, in addition to that, though, is, well, yeah, I'll just take back everything. Not everything that I said. The gameplay still is stupid. Like, I don't like the thesis of the game. But if there's something that I'm passively doing, I might as well do something that's in the NFT space. So it feels like I'm at least contributing in some way. And part of me did feel a desire to buy another heavy metal as a result of playing, just to make my life easier.
Well, there you go. Look, I do want to talk about Captainz. I want to talk about Azuki. I guess we can touch on Ether reducing supply. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't know who's buying that for 0.65 ETH in this market. But, like, you know, what do you... Sorry, Nick?
A project is stupid.
Okay. Well, speaking of quote unquote PFPs, but really startup companies, I look at Captainz as one of those. And it looks like, wow, the bottom was 4.3 Ethereum. That is rough. And that's still ahead of the meme coin, self-proclaimed shitcoin that they're dropping. What do we make of this reveal for Captainz? Like, is it technically botched?
It didn't go well.
Well, it certainly didn't go well.
I saw a bunch of people. I actually don't know. Well, there's a couple of things. One, the art is kind of weird. I don't understand this thing with, like, there's a couple of companies that are focused on PFPs that go back to old game dynamics where, like, you really enhance the breasts of the women. That's like a key element of the design, which, like, look, everybody likes, you know, a good pair of breasts. Like, I don't know that anyone that doesn't enjoy that, but I'm just saying, and that's across the spectrum. That doesn't matter who you are. It's just a nice thing to have in your life. But outside of that, when it comes to the PFP, you know, I'm a little bit like, why did they need to actually incorporate that into the art? And then secondarily, their dynamic, their way of rolling this out, they've done some things that I think are quite interesting. I saw some threads talking about it. I saw some people who, like, enjoyed the art, and I don't know if that's them pumping their own bags. It probably is, because they own it.
That's how it works.
But I think, like, Captainz has done, or in Memeland as a whole, has actually done some interesting things with the rollout. The key is, and we're focused on this sort of thing. That's all I'm going to say about us, but that how you structure your rollout needs to be thought out. And I think in the case of Memeland, they've done some innovative things. And for a moment in time, the market really rewarded them for that. I think most of this dump is just from seeing what they are. You can't ever, and he said it himself, you can't even actually, like, you can't deliver on things. If you're able to induce a pump of that size, you cannot deliver on anything, basically. Inevitably, what that leads to at some point is going to be a slow bleed. So, like, you either need to perfectly execute and hopefully gradually grow. Who knows if that works? Or you induce these FOMO pumps, essentially, where people feel like they need to get into it and they need to participate. And then once you reveal anything, it's a disaster. Now, in their case, it's sort of like you've been working on this for months, and like that's the thing that revealed. But apparently the dynamic NFT component of it does exist at this moment in time, and you can go do some of these interactions. So they're trying to innovate, like, how they're doing those sorts of things. It just didn't land well, I think, for a lot of people. And when you see the art at this point, all art, it's hard to be like, oh, this is worth the inflated prices that we're seeing. If you're at 10 ETH floor, it's just hard to sustain that. And I don't know that, like, that's a place that anyone can, because if I explain to someone why someone's paying $20,000 for my PFP, they're just not going to understand it. So I don't know. I think they were in a tough spot, and it's headed towards a reasonable level. Frankly, I think high-end PFPs in the 5 ETH range to me feels like, okay, like that to me is blue chip.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong floor price. What I was going to say is, just to add on to what you're saying, is that I obviously put Captainz into the box of, like, quality startup building in NFTs. So like from that front, I'm just like all in. But then understanding whether right now's price is an appropriate price is the hard thing. I mean, I was talking about this with stocks the other day, trying to figure out like, okay, yeah, I know that Apple's a great company, obviously, but is it a good time to buy the Apple stock right now, all-time high? It's hard to tell whether it's a good time to buy the thing. So I can't tell you that the Captainz price right now is a good price or a bad price. It's very hard to figure that part out, but I can tell you it's a quality NFT startup.
It's a bad price, and here's why. A lot of people are like, like buying at 5 ETH to me is a crazy thing because you're 2xing requires a 10 ETH floor. So like that, if you're looking for multiples on your investment, then it seems a little bit crazy. That said, if all you have is like that amount, well, actually, if all you can afford is one of those, then yeah, you shouldn't buy it. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity on the lower price stuff, but in general, it's like higher risk essentially of whether or not those things are going to do well. And I feel like what you're really figuring out at this point is, do I think these people are going to be here in 2 to 3 years? That's it. Like, because I think any Web 1.0 internet bubble stock that survived to the second phase had their stock go up. Like, I don't know if there's any company that like made it to that point and
Pet.com.
Pets, well, they didn't make it past the first thing. So, like, I can give you a name of a bunch of companies that died in the first internet bubble.
eBay survived and thrived.
Amazon survived.
Amazon.
And thrived.
Microsoft.
And thrived.
Google.
Thrive.
Yeah, these are some of the biggest companies in the world, minus eBay.
Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson &
Thrived.
General Motors.
Yeah,
Thrive.
no, we get the point. Signal, what do you make of the Captainz situation?
That last comment, Nick, I kind of push back on because I feel like there's some teams in the space who are so well funded they can go 3 years and still be here, but not actually have the caliber of execution that other teams are putting in. So just being around isn't enough for me. There are certain ingredients that I think like a Web3 NFT team need, and obviously, you know, having staying power is one of them, but it's not the only thing. I think the art thing on Captainz was completely overblown. I think people were they're on the Azuki train, and then this came out, and so they jumped on that. And if you're in the Memeland ecosystem, you knew like this stuff was coming out. They've been talking about traits before, like even Ray tweeted about it on Friday or Saturday. Can't remember which one. He was talking that you'll be able to change the skin color, like the gender, the hair, whatever, etc. They're going to be able to, like as a holder, you'll be able to sell traits. There's a lot of interesting things happening right now that make me think, okay, this is a team that despite where the price is, I would like to bet on. Maybe potentially not a Captainz, it could be potatoes instead, but I think they're one of the teams that potentially could get out in the next 12 to 18 months, like, and actually do well. Right now, I think it's overblown. It's just engagement farming right now, and Threadall's coming out with how come the art is not better when it's like, come on, guys, let's just look under the ceiling a little bit more. It's not an Azuki situation.
So, well, a couple of things. One, to your comment on it's not just surviving. The reality is it actually kind of is. The reason that I say that is because the people that raised a lot more money have higher burn rates. And so they're actually throwing cash at a lot of the things that they're doing. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club, someone posted like, well, looks like ApeCoin people love spending money. They've spent 60 grand in ApeCoin on this game. That's not going to keep the lights on for Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like they need to be making millions of dollars on these games. And so they're just straight up burning cash for a period of time. So I do genuinely believe that survival into the bull is key so that they can, because a lot of money pours back in to those companies. On the Captainz side of things, you're right. That said, buying any asset within an ecosystem, you got to let the air out of all of them, because whether or not you're in Pudgies or little Pudgies, if you're in Azuki or Azuki Elementals, whether you're in D-Gods or Utes and all those different things, each of those assets correspondingly drop. And in fact, the lower tier ones can get hit harder. We're seeing that with mutants, for example, right now. mutants are getting hit harder because a lot of the people that were holding on to that, even them owning the mutant was a meaningful amount of their net worth, essentially. And so they're saying, shit, I can still get $15,000 for this thing. I'm going to sell it. And so I think from that standpoint, I would wait for the premium one, the top tier. If you are aiming for something, I would be aiming for that, unless you want to take a flyer. And some of those items, like if you want to grab a beans at a cheap price, then that to me seems like a great deal. Did you all see the Azuki situation with there's like an Azuki DAO or something that voted to sue?
Got hacked this morning.
Vagabond. What?
That DAO got hacked this morning for
So was that thing fake?
So it was, nobody in like the garden actually knows who made that. It seems like it was a third party. If you read through their proposal too, it's very poorly worded, terrible grammatic structure, some typos in there too. And they're looking for 20,000 ETH. So basically the full $40 million raise to then go and sue Vagabond. Which is crazy, like absolutely wild to see. And nobody in the garden actually knows who started it. So it seems like it may even be a third party. And then this morning, so their governance token called a bean token, they put 35 ETH of liquidity in it. And that bean token got drained for 35 ETH this morning. So on top of it, it's like they're now trying to get 20,000 ETH. They can't even properly secure their governance token. Do we really feel like this is a good move to give them the $40 million to try to make a stand? You look at what they're trying to do too. They're like, we're going to empower creators and artists. And that's all they said. Like no actual attack plan of how they intend to do this. So it seems like it's just some fear-mongering tactic on top of it to try to drum up speculation and cause more problems than there already are.
Well, it's definitely crazy. Regardless, it's hard to call which of these things you would buy. We should at some point, and I think that may have even been a segment in this show, was figuring out predictions. So we can get to that in a bit.
Oh, I'm excited. I got some hot takes, some spicy things.
I want to hear that. I mean, look, it really is a shame that you can't comfortably say, well, I would buy a beans here, because it's like you don't know if the people that just raised 40 million bucks last week are going to like go really, really hard to make it something in the next 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, Nick, you're shaking your head.
I mean, I wouldn't buy that. All of them have gone down significantly. I was looking at VFriends, which I think is down to 1.4 ETH, which is, I think.
VFriends 1?
Yeah.
Damn.
And so there's a bunch of other, which
1.99.
Okay, well, that's still sub what I paid for the spectacular. So I think that basically all of those blue chips, they come down to a level that feels more reasonable. If you were able to make 10x on your money, which was turn $400 into $4,000, that would be an insane situation. If you were able to make 100x for 4,000 or turn it into $40,000, that's an insane situation. These were 1,000 X's basically. So that was like such an unsustainable level. And to me, a 10X from what some of these things were issued at feels reasonable, which is like a crazy thing to say. But Bored Apes, I don't know that 4,000 is the right level, but like $20,000 to me seems like a great price for an NFT that's premium. $20,000 is a hell of a lot of money
for 10,000 of them, and that's only 75% down from where it's at now. Which in the crypto and NFT world, you can drop.
How he's going to feel at 20K. Bunny, how are you going to feel at 20K?
And that's not
there.
And Nick, to clarify, is that a prediction, or are you like, if that happened, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing ever?
I don't know if it's a prediction. Maybe it goes down to like 35K. There's enough people in this space where the prices can be irrational. And so that's why it's like difficult to really specify what the price is. Maybe 35K is it. I think 35K to me, based on like the number of people that are in this space that are willing to pay premiums, feels, maybe if that's my prediction, then that's probably where I'd be. But I think reasonable from a human, like societal standpoint, reasonable to me for the highest tier is somewhere around $20,000 or something like that.
I get what you're saying. One thing to keep in mind with all this stuff is the crypto cycle and how that plays into this.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what I was thinking, Pio, because it's like the tricky thing right here, like your best case maybe trying to catch like a USD bottom, right? Because if Bitcoin and ETH make a 20% move up in ETH terms, you got to think NFTs get smacked again. And then if something catastrophic happens and ETH went from like 1900 back to 1200, do we really think we're in an environment where NFTs rally off of that? Probably not, right? So, I mean, me personally, I think what I would wait for to buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club would be like kind of like what happened. Remember when ETH hit 800 and then everyone was like, it's going to 400. And then like the consensus on Twitter was like, it's going to 400 or 500, right? And then we never saw below 1,000 again. I would wait for something like that with Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Like I'd wait for it to get to like 25 and people are like, you know, you start hearing 10 ETH is my price target. And then like the consensus on Twitter becomes like 10 ETH is my price target. And then I would like buy at 20 ETH because it'll never touch 10.
Yeah. I mean, like we're less than a year out from the next Bitcoin halving. And I feel like, you know, when you look at the historical data, call it 9 months after that, then we're kind of due for like a pretty monstrous NFT bull run. And that's like almost 2 calendar years from now. So there can be a lot of shaking out. There can be a lot of technological development. There can be a lot of proving yourself as a qualified operator, entrepreneur in the space between now and then. That there's a lot of stuff that can go down. When I look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, they're going to still function at that time. So why wouldn't they pump, you know?
And it's all about like what you're trying to accomplish with NFTs, right? Like if you're trying to like run up a major stack, I mean, there's still going to be tons of opportunities, even if like the overall market top NFTs don't do 10Xs. My point being is like this year, what were the best trades this year? Nakamigos, checks, Opepin,
Pepe coin.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of these things were like generational wealth, 100Xs. Some of them were 1,000Xs. Like I think checks or Pepe, whereas Opepin was like 1,000X. Pepe was definitely 1,000X. Point being that like if you're in NFTs to like, you're like, I got $10,000. I want to turn it into $100,000. You can probably pull that off if you're a patient, smart trader over the next year, even without NFTs doing a massive bull run. So there's still going to be tons of opportunities and stuff like that. Going back to like what Nick said earlier, like just me historically, I suck at buying NFTs over 5 ETH, just terrible at it. And if I keep doing it and keep losing money, I can't look at myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? So like, I want these other projects to do well, but also me personally, I like to like be like, okay, cool. I'm going to put 10K into NFTs this year and try to turn it into 50. I'm going to do that off of new projects probably, right? Like in new things coming around. And there's going to be plenty of them. You know, if anything, our little 2-3 month thing, we're probably due for one pretty soon here, right? Because like we're getting like 2 or 3 months out from like Pepe and Nakamigos and all of that stuff. So there's probably going to be a big NFT, you know, project that does 100Xer here pretty soon.
That we're all going to miss because everyone on Twitter is saying NFTs are dead and everyone's crying. So then you're going to miss the new one that pumps.
Exactly.
Right?
So, oh man, it's rocking. It's all rigged, man. These are insiders. They all got in on it and pumped this thing.
We're not missing it on this show. I'll tell you that much because at least we'll have discussed it. The real question is whether or not you'll trade it.
Yeah, Nick will call it trash. I'll be like, it's overvalued, you know, and then Signal will be like, I bought 2. And then I'll 100X.
And Easy will be like, I like it, but I want to see it go down by another 8% before I buy it. And then
Easy will call the bottom and the top, and then he won't sell the top. I'll
be distracted. I'll give both. I'll say this looks great here. I'm selling it here. Do you own any? No. It'll hit both. I'll say, yeah, I was spot on. I made $0. It was great. I love it here. This is so much fun.
Easy's the opposite of Cassandra. So he has the he has the opposite problem of Cassandra. Instead of nobody believing him, he's right, but he doesn't believe himself. But don't worry, Easy, I'm making money off your call. So you keep telling us what to do. But you know what was interesting, what Kix was talking about, the projects which you mentioned, Nakamigos, Checks, Opepin, Pepe, all of those had an extremely low cost mint, extremely low cost. And there was a great tweet by Udi. I think he put it out today, maybe yesterday, where he was talking about like punks when they came out and how cheap they were, and basically if you had them as an avatar back in like the early days, people laughed at you on crypto Twitter. So it was completely not a flex to be having, you know, these punks as your PFP on Twitter. But then over time, culture was developed over the years and in the trenches. And he was basically saying that a lot of communities today, a lot of these PFP projects, their communities were not developed in the trenches. So the people are only hanging around for the speculative value. They're not actually there because they want to be there.
Totally.
And it's completely spot on. And it just made me think, like, even today, the projects that have pumped like this weekend, if you look at like what, I mean, I hold Jack Bookshop, but if you even look at what he's doing with O'Peppin and what he's trying to do with Set 8, like that community absolutely loved that project and the way he's thinking about it, and how every edition that comes out, every set that comes out, he's so philosophical, and he's really thinking about like PFP identity. What does it mean? Like, how can Set 8 look all the same on a Pepin but not have the same FUD as Azuki? And if you go into it, you start to understand why. And you know, you look at Rex Guy, that was a free mint if you were a Degens holder. And it's just like there's all these little projects doing their own thing, staying away from the FUD, but seeing really good like price appreciation going from like 0.5 to 1.5. And I think it's far more interesting to spend time looking at those kind of projects and those kind of builders than potentially allocating, you know, 80%, 90% of your budget into a quote unquote blue chip that potentially could have a lot more bleeding to do.
I mean, I like the point. Nick, go ahead.
I just wanted to know how much Bunny would be willing to be paid in order to switch his PFP to a BoDoggo instead.
Yeah, like what is up with that, Bunny?
What's the amount? How much?
I don't know.
$100?
Dude, this guy's just riveting today.
$100, dude.
Ah, dude. Well, I can't pay your $400,000 loss on your tweet was hilarious, where you were like, got $500,000 on my watch, baby. Was
$500,000 on the wrist, man. Big shot. Guy's a big shot. He's watching Lil Baby perform live with a $500,000 on his wrist. That was a big night.
That was
a big night, man. I regret the tweet, but
you'll get it back, dude.
Well, I can't pay you $500,000, but I could. I'll pay you a couple $100 if you switch to PFP.
10 grand, dude.
10 grand. Get out of here, Bunny.
That's
Dude,
not the kind of holder you want. That's a bad holder.
We could get Soldier Boy to change his PFP for 10 grand. Like, get the hell out of here, dude. Like, what the hell?
Bunny, you are not Soldier Boy. $300, Bunny. $300.
300, dude. What kind of fucking counter?
250 final offer. You're losing it by the minute, just like that floor price.
How about
Better act
750?
quick.
But you got to spend the money to go back to that same club and put the BoDoggo on your wrist.
Give me a 1-of-1 BoDoggo. I'll wear it for a couple days before I sell it.
No, what? That was despicable, Bunny.
Bunny, how about we throw in a pack of smokes, infinite pack of smokes? I'll get them shipped over to you. I'll make sure they're the best, and it comes with the 1-of-1.
No, not a 1-of-1. Get the hell out of here. I'm not giving it Bunny.
He'd sell it so quick.
I got a better idea. How about you never come on the show again with that attitude?
Bunny, what is it really going to take to change your PFP to a BoDoggo?
I don't know, man. He's got to be nicer, I guess.
That's actually very fair. I've been a little bit mean.
He's been a real meanie lately.
I've been a little mean. We kicked him off and made Tig co-host last week because Tig has a 1-of-1. So we gave Tig 1-of-1 privilege, and Bunny didn't talk to me for 2 days. It was probably one of the more sad moments I've had. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So yeah, Bunny, I'll work on this. I'm talking to someone.
You guys made up?
No. He's been screening my calls. They go straight to voicemail.
That's because I live on D&D, dude. I don't want anybody. Like, I don't even answer my mom's calls. Like, it's on Do Not Disturb until the floor is over 35 ETH.
Well, you and Kix have the same thing because you can't reach Kix by any communication platform besides Discord. So you and him should be buddies. Bunny, we're going to have to talk about when you are going to change your PFP to a BoDoggo for sure, but we don't have to continue to talk about it. I mean, we're basically at time, so we didn't do our prediction thing. If you guys want to keep going.
Take predictions for July 5th.
Cool. So we're going to do predictions July 5th. No show tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Free NFT right now if you go to the nifty.com. But before, we're going to go ahead and shout out today's sponsor, Phantom Wallet. So make sure you connect your Phantom Wallet to the nifty.com. It's going to make the NFT process smoother. Because as an NFT enthusiast, you need an ETH wallet that's actually purpose-built for community. And that's why you got to check out Phantom, which offers the best way to showcase your NFT collection. Phantom's browser extension and mobile apps make it super duper easy to manage your NFTs across blockchains, ETH, Matic, Solana, all in one spot. And you can actually see all the details about your NFT in wallet, which the competitors obviously do not offer. And this includes the price you bought it for and the current floor price. You can basically manage your portfolio in wallet. So you don't have to switch between your various wallets. If you have Phantom, you can import all the different wallets into, all the different seed phrases into one wallet. It's badass. So manage all your assets in one place. There's already millions of users that are, crushing it from Solana and ETH and Matic. So if you really want to take your NFT trading to the next level, go to phantom.app, the trusted wallet partner of the Nifty and of BoDoggos. Shout out to our friends over at Phantom. Go to the nifty.com right now, connect your Phantom wallet, and go to the nifty.com/claim and claim your free NFT today. Password is Buddy, BUDDY 69. Buddy 69 is the password for today's free NFT. I'm going to claim it on the show right now. Here we go. For all the YouTube people, they can see what is going on here. Buddy 69 at the nifty.com/claim. Here we go. A little animation is going. Okay, beautiful. And there it is. And this is from the CyberDog 4269 series. It's a fan favorite. People are big fans of this series. Digital Defiance is the title of the piece. The description reads, watch Buddy unleash his artistic rebellion on the digital canvas of an ATM machine. Caught on camera, Buddy's act of CyberDog graffiti becomes a symbol of defiance, reminding us that even in a world of digital surveillance, creativity and self-expression cannot be silenced. So we love seeing Buddy express himself through graffiti in the world of CyberDog 4269, the dystopian future where there's a lot going on that can affect the CyberDog for sure. There's only going to be 10 pieces in the CyberDog 69 collection, and we've got 8 of them. So there's going to be 2 more pieces from that fan favorite collection. Kicks, Nick, Easy, any other thoughts before we close the show?
On my wrist.
And enjoy your 4th of July, and I guess buy ETH and Solana and stuff like that, because that's the only thing that goes up. Well,
BoDoggos goes up. Bunny, what are you doing for the 4th of July? Bunny?
Hey, Pio.
What are you doing for the 4th of July, amigo?
Well, I'm not doing anything. What are you doing? Are you inviting me somewhere?
No.
Oh.
I'd hang out with Buddy if he had a different PFP, but unfortunately, he's still in the Ape Club,
I only hang out with BoDoggos on the 4th of July.
Well, once they flip Bored Apes and floor price, which is probably around the corner, then I'll switch.
Got it. You're waiting for the floor price to go up before you participate. Okay. Interesting.
Bunny does have a couple rare dogs. I will give him credit for that. If he hasn't sold them yet.
Froggo.
He does have a BoFroggo. He's got one, which is, people like the frogs. People like the frogs.
People like the frogs. Bunny, you'll get invited to all of the 4th of July festivities once you change your PFP to a BoDoggo. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, have a great 4th of July. We will be off tomorrow. The show will not go on tomorrow. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Check out BoDoggos, of course. Nick, any other message for the audience before we wrap?
No, happy 3rd.
Happy 3rd of July, ladies and gentlemen. We will catch